So how do you become a player? How do you become that guy in the social circle that all the girls want, the guy that all the girls naturally chase? You know the type I'm talking about, the kind of guy that women say they hate but always wind up fucking. That's what we're going to talk about in this video. All right, hey guys, Rob Judge here with Bobby Rio, and today we want to talk about this idea of, we get a lot of questions from guys, a lot of emails from students saying, I want to be that player, I want to be a player. And full disclosure, right, Rob and I hate that term player. I hate using it. I don't think it connotates what we really want to get across.
Any guy I know who's actually good with women, who succeeds with women, has a great dating life, would never refer to themselves as a player. It kind of almost reminds me of something you would see in like some weird 70s movie with the dude with like open shirt and shit.
Or like 10 years ago when everybody wanted to be a pickup artist. I'm a pickup artist.
Yeah.
Being a player, right? Let's define what that actually is, right? Because a player is not that guy. Like, I think when people think of the image in their head, they think of this suave James Bond guy going out and just saying these, spouting out these amazing lines and women flocking all over him. But really what a player really is a guy who has a lot of options, right? A guy who always has the ability to pick up his phone. He's always got a girl. It's a Friday night. He's never going home alone on a Friday night. He's always got a handful of girls that are always around.
Yeah, that's a great way to define it. It's a guy who's just never really in need of women. And like you said, another, I think, stereotype of a player is a guy who advertises that lifestyle, who's constantly putting that out there, who's posting on Facebook all these pictures of different women. And in actuality, guys who I know who are very good with women, they don't really advertise it at all. Other people advertise, their success for them. Yeah,
so how do you become this guy, right? Well, one of the things I always tell guys when I'm working with a student is getting better, right? Becoming a player is about subtraction and not addition, right? Because the difference between the guy who always has all these women in his life and the guy who doesn't is not that this guy is doing so much more. In a lot of ways, it's because he's doing less, right? He's showing girls less attention, the player is, right? He's less needy. He's less nervous around women. He's less hungry for their approval. He's less anxious, right? It's always about, it's not about some over the top, like Rob said, some stereotypical version of a player. It's really about a guy who's just got so much confidence in his ability to meet other women that he doesn't put the effort in that women expect, which then they think he's a jerk, he's an asshole. But in reality, all he is the guy who's not super available to hang out, the guy who doesn't, feel like he's got to drop everything he's doing to hang out with her.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, like a global way to sum that up, it's the guy who cares less. It's the guy who cares less than the woman cares about him. And again, in your relationship, that might be problematic, but when you're just playing the field, you're out there, you're dating, and you want to be a guy who has a couple different girls that you're seeing or a couple different girls that you're interested in, and you're not in a relationship, there's no reason why you should be chasing girls around and putting in all this effort and getting nervous and thinking about what you need to say and thinking, the wheels in her head should be the one that's spinning. She should be the one getting a little nervous around you because, she's the one who's putting in more effort. And that I guess, is really what these so-called players, the reaction they elicit from women.
Yeah. And the easiest way to become that, obviously Rob and I, we both teach a lot of strategies, a lot of techniques, a lot of mind, we walk guys through what to do. But what it really comes down to, right, and I used to see this, I was actually telling him off camera that, in college I was in a fraternity, and because we would have parties at our house, there was an abundance of women, right? It was never an issue getting women. So what I would see happen, right, and I was one of these guys, I came to college, I did not have the best high school experience. I know it's a shocker. I wasn't the cool guy in high, and you get to college, and all of a sudden things become pretty easy, right? You're living in a house, you're getting laid, and then your mentality towards women naturally changes. You're not faking it. You're not following it. It's when oh shit, I got laid last night. This girl's calling me. When another girl comes to you, no matter how cute she is, how cool she is, you're laid back about it. You're okay, if it doesn't work out with her, it doesn't matter because she's there. And I noticed that what happens is all these guys that came into this who had been kind of virgins or guys that really weren't that well, the minute they got accustomed to having all these options, they started naturally doing all the stuff that we kind of teach, because a lot of times if you don't have options, you kind of have to, fake it till you make it. You kind of have to play the game a little bit. You have to be conscious of it. But when you have options, a lot of it is natural.
So much. And it's so funny you bring that up, because I know when I first started trying to get better with my social skills and dating and that kind of thing, I just wanted the girlfriend, right? Like, I was like so desperate to find a girlfriend, and that's the reason what led me there is because every girl I'd meet, I'd think, oh, maybe this is gonna be the girlfriend. This is gonna be my, the girlfriend. And then once I started actually learning some of this stuff, even though I had the option for the girlfriend, now it's happened. I was catching up. I was making up for lost time, and I didn't necessarily want to get into that relationship. So people, would label me or would label Bobby like a player, but I wasn't intentionally thinking, oh, I want to be a player. But it just kind of came naturally because the way I was reacting. If I met a girl at a bar, even if she was really attractive and back in the day, I would have like been head over the heels. Oh my God, this is my dream girlfriend. I would show interest, but I wouldn't be texting her every 3 seconds or when she would text me, like get all excited and have the butterflies in my stomach. Instead, I was like, oh, that's cool. She's an attractive girl. I'm looking forward to getting to know her. And that was that. And that's sort of the attitude that we're trying to instill in you guys. And that's the reason we want to put this video together. That's what Bobby means when he says it's less about addition and more about subtraction, is that I was subtracting the butterflies. I was subtracting all that time, needless time I was spending overthinking things. I was subtracting all these different things. So when I meet that attractive girl, yeah, she's attractive, and absolutely I want to get to know her, but I'm not going to be doing all these counterproductive behaviors that every other guy does. Every guy who's not a player does when he meets a really attractive woman.
Yeah, so I got good news and bad news for you, right? The good news is, or let's start with the bad news, right?
Just get right into it.
Let's start with the bad news, right?
Because this is going to suck.
The bad news is that right now, any girl you meet is being inundated with other guys. Her attention span is really, really minimal right now. She's got her ego is super huge because guys are hitting her up on Tinder, guys are hitting her up on Facebook, guys are hitting her up, pretty much anywhere she goes, she's getting hit up, right? It's never been easier in the entire history of the universe for a guy to hit on a woman, which means women are becoming used to it, right? They're the ones, like we talk about, the player has so many options that he can be laid back and cool. Well, now even the average girls, even the 6s and 7s have so many options that they can be laid back and they can be like cool, right? So on one hand, that kind of sucks, right? Because it's a little different than it used to be. But on the other hand, never in the history do you have the ability to have so many options when you know what you're doing, right? Right now, dating apps has made it so you have universal ability, and I'm gonna let Rob speak on this really fast because he's basically the guy I go to. I've seen how much he's mastered this, and I have taught his techniques to a lot of my clients who, it's funny, he said that he was looking for a girlfriend and then he winds up dating, he's having so much fun. I see that all the time with my clients. I put them in touch with Rob, he gets them set up on these dating sites, and then next time they're like, yeah, I don't really want a girlfriend anymore. This is, hot 22-year-olds in my bed every night. Like,
yeah, it's tough lifestyle to walk away from.
But yeah, just give me a 30-second on how they should be making use of what's going on, getting these options nowadays.
Sure. So by getting on Tinder, getting on these dating apps, and just by meeting different women, messaging a lot of women, and sometimes even lowering your standards a little bit, not necessarily even going to meet up with these girls or she's going to be your next your future wife, but by getting familiar with how different how to message a woman, how to set up a date, how to sort of adapt to these new rules of dating, that's what's going to get you all these options. So that literally you're going to have to silence your phone because you're going to be getting Tinder messages, Bumble messages, texts, Facebook notifications, basically everything that a very attractive woman would if any of you guys have ever been around, dated a really hot girl, or you have a friend who's a really hot girl, you'll see their phone is buzzing nonstop because, and a lot of times they just silence them because it gets so annoying, and it's actually going to get annoying for you how much attention you're going to be getting once you adapt to this sort of new dating landscape.
Yeah, it's a new paradigm, and Rob and I actually created a little bit longer of a video. I really highly suggest checking it out. It's a very easy URL, endofmen.com, where Rob walks you through the new rules, right? The new rules, because it doesn't take a rocket science to look around and say like shit is not the way it was a few years ago, right? Everything's different. What girls want is different. How you communicate with them is different. I mean, some guys say to me when we mention this idea of dating apps, they say, yeah, I want to meet girls in the real world. This is what I say to that, right? Even if you meet a girl in the real world, that's not where the relationship is going to take place. The relationship with her is going to take place over text message, over your Facebook interactions, over your half the interactions with her are going to take place online or over message. So you got to know how to adjust to the new rules.